in today's video I'm going to talk to you about new Look K6106, which is this pattern. I'm going to talk about all the pros and cons of this pattern in an honest review. So if that interests you, stay tuned. So before we get started, you might notice that my voice is a little bit hoarse. I apologise if you can't understand me. I did lose my voice to laryngitis a few weeks ago and I'm just regaining my voice now. I'm hoping that it's good enough to produce this video. If you do have any problems understanding what I'm talking about, turn on subtitles, which you'll find in the settings on this video. Thank you for sticking with me while I get through this illness. So I've had a bit of a time of it, but I'm eager to get on with things now, which is why I'm making this video. Can I just ask a favour that if you haven't subscribed yet, you do hit that red button below, as it really helps my channel to grow. If you like the video, please hit like and hit the notification bell, as this really helps me to determine what videos you guys want and helps me in my planning stages later. Let's get on with the video. The pattern I am reviewing today is this one. New Look K6106. I got this pattern free with Dressmaker magazine. I'm not sure how long ago, but it was sat in my stash. Before Christmas, one of my best friend's birthdays was coming up. It was her 50th and she was having a big party. I didn't have the money to buy a present, so I decided that I was going to make something for her. I wanted something quite simple because if you remember, in the month of December I was doing Vlogmas then and I was struggling a little bit, so I wanted something that was quite simple, but I had some lovely fabric in my shop that would really sell the pattern. So as I say, I found this pattern and I thought, simple, it's the style that she would wear, well, the short version is. And I had some fabric that I wanted to use for it, so I decided to go with this. Now, I'm not normally a big full person. I do favour the indie patterns, but I thought I'd give this a go. So I'm in a different position. It's just the sitting down was causing me quite a bit of pain with acid reflux. So standing up is more comfortable for me, so please excuse the change of scene. I wanted the magic to be in the fabric and the design, not in how much money I was spending or the time I was spending on it. So that's why I chose this pattern. So here is the skirt. Let me stand back. Before we go any further, you might want to know what I'm wearing. This is a new make, hashtag sponsored. I was given this fabric to review, well, not to review, just to share on my social medias. I saw it online and I just fell in love with it. It's very loud. This is a top from the Shiona dress and top pattern. It's also So My Style this month, but hashtag this fabric was supplied to me free of charge. It's absolutely lovely. It's from Second Star Fabrics. I'll leave a link in the description below. It is a UK based one, but do check out the link below. Such good quality. And I whipped this up the other day. Haven't stopped wearing it ever since. Anyway, let's get back to the video. So this is the resulting skirt from that pattern, and this is a fabric that I wanted to use. Hashtag add in this section because this is a fabric from my shop, although I do only have 2 meters left now, so if you're interested in it you'll need to be quick. I used more fabric than I thought I was going to use, and you'll see why through the process of this video, but this is the fabric that I had my heart on. Stay tuned to the end of the video if you want to see a close-up of this inside and out, and I'll go through all the features on it. I'll move over to the side a bit so I can put some images here. On the front it shows 4 views, but on the back it shows 3. Basically, the difference in the views on this pattern is the length. I knew that my friend would want to wear a short length, so I went with the shortest one. It's also the most simple make, so that was my reasoning for that. I also wanted these front pockets on here because I just adore pockets like that. So handy, much better than in the side seam. So in terms of measurements, I'd been given my friend's measurements some time ago in a Facebook message. So I went searching for them. Her measurement, she's the type of person who tends to stay at the same size, so I wasn't concerned about that. I looked on the back of the packet to determine which size that I would make. That was my first error in doing so. Judging on her size, and she's a size 10 in UK ready to wear, the pattern said that she was a size 16. I know that when you're making clothes for yourself, you have to disregard your ready to wear size. It has absolutely no correlation to your pattern size. So I blindly went with the size 16. I began cutting the size of 16 out, constructed the pockets, started to do the side seam, and I just thought, this skirt is massive, far too big for her. It's going to fall off her. So I looked on the pattern pieces to find out the actual measurements on the pattern, because often with ready to wear, they'll give you the sizes they recommend on the back. On the tissue paper, you'll find the measurements of the actual pattern piece, and I thought in this situation it's going to give me a better idea. I looked on the pattern piece and they very helpfully had bust measurements on a skirt pattern. Seriously? That's what's happened. That was no help to me. So I took to the internet and I found a blog post of someone who had made this pattern. I'll link it below. I can't remember the name of it now. And they'd come across exactly the same problem. They were a UK ready to wear size 10 and they made a size 10 in the pattern, which is 3 sizes smaller than the pattern suggests for those measurements. I decided to just follow suit and I cut the pattern pieces out again. Now this was fine because I was using fabric from my shop, albeit very expensive fabric, but fabric nonetheless, so that was absolutely fine. Had I just bought 1.5 meters of this fabric to make this garment, I'd have had to go shopping again. It's partly my doing because I am not educated in ready to wear. I've made very, very few. I can probably count on one hand how many patterns I've made from ready to wear. It's partly me not taking into consideration the massive ease amount in the pattern, and we're talking nearly 7 inches of ease. 7 inches for a close fit A-line skirt. So I retraced it, cut it out again and began sewing it up, and it worked like a dream. Mind you, I still haven't given her the skirt, so we'll see in the future if it fits her. The instructions look simple enough. I didn't follow them to the T. I'm not a new sewer, so I have no need to follow them to the T. I did double check the pockets because it had been a while since I'd made those kinds of pockets, and that was straightforward enough. Of the instructions that I did read, I didn't come across any problems, so there's nothing to report on that. I constructed the zip, the waistband and the side seams and the hem with no instructions whatsoever. So when I was doing the waistband, I always hate turning it under on the inside and sewing it down because you can never get it perfect so it looks nice on the inside and the outside, even though you're stitching in the ditch on the outside. Do you know what I mean? So I picked up a technique that I first saw on Sean's channel, Kittenish Behaviour. That was to add bias binding to the bottom of the waistband and then stitch in the ditch as normal, and that's what I've done there. I'm not sure if you can see the actual stitching, and I think that looks much nicer on the inside. Now I was in two minds whether to add that same bias binding to the hem and then turn up, or do I just serge and turn up. I spoke to people on the peeps and it was pretty much unanimous that I use bias binding, so that's what I've done. Someone suggested whichever way you sew when you attach a bias binding, sew in the opposite direction when you attach the other side, and then you won't get that wrinkling. Clearly I didn't do that. But anyway, to a non-sewer, they're not even going to consider that, I don't think. and attaching bias binder to a skirt. Use a long stitch length like I have there. I used to use a shorter stitch length and it would bunch up and look really, really homemade. But since I added like a long stitch length, I think it's about 4. So if you struggle with hems, try that. Let me show you the skirt. So this is the skirt. It has front pockets and not side pockets. I don't like side pockets. It's a mini length on the back. It's got an invisible zip. It is largely invisible. Check that out. And it's got a curved waistband. I sewed on a sewing machine and then I serged the edges. And I'm really proud of the inside because I think it looks just as good as the outside. I was debating whether I would add a lining, but I decided not to do that. It was just a whole extra step that I didn't want to take when I made this. Now, I'm not sure how they finished the zip in the actual pattern. I decided to go to the top of the waistband, as you can see here. I was thinking about adding a hook and eye, but there is no need for it. It's nice as it is. As you can see, I still have this in my possession, and her birthday was in December, I think the 27th of December. So I'm a little bit late in getting it to her. I was intending on going to visit her in January, and then I got ill with this and I haven't been anywhere. And part of me wanted to film this to show you before I handed it over to her. She's actually in Australia at the moment, so I can't give it to her anyway. When she gets back, I will give it to her. I'll hopefully get a picture to show her wearing it, and when I do, I will share that on my Instagram. I'll put my handle here. You can check me out at Penguin and Pear on Instagram. You'll see her wearing this skirt once I've got a photo from her. So I still have the other fabric cut out from the first one that I was making that was too big. I am going to make that up and finish it. I'm hoping that, because I'm on a weight loss journey, that once I lose some weight, it's big enough that it'll fit me. It's probably a size 18 in a UK ready to wear. I will make that up at some point, but there is no rush at the moment. So to conclude the review for this pattern, so it's a nice simple pattern. It's a flattering design. The sizing is way off, so do be careful if you make this pattern up. There's around 7 inches of ease. Now you want 1 to 1.5 inches of ease for a skirt like this. So you will need to bear that in mind when you're making it. The instructions are straightforward. I didn't have any problems with the instructions of those that I read. And so that's it. My voice is starting to go, so I'm going to wrap this up now. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. As long as I don't lose my voice next week, I will be back with another video. And I'm actually hoping, I've been doing some acupuncture. Not acupuncture, I've been doing some acupressure. I found this video online and Dr. Berg, I think it is, on YouTube. So you've got to determine where it is you've got the problem in your voice box, and then go round to the back at the same point and apply pressure, and you will get your voice back. Now, I was doing this last night and this morning, and it definitely helps. It isn't a miracle worker. I think I'm going to have to continue doing it over the next few days. But my voice is really starting to go because I've been talking a little while now. So I'll link that video below in case you're interested. I hope you've been enjoying your sewing. Let me know in the comments below what you've been making, as I'd be really interested to hear. Feel free to link a picture of your makes so I can check them out. Bye for now.